Hey everybody, I'm Jane.
And I'm Sarah.
And you're listening to the Medium Curious podcast, the show that's bringing the high vibrations to you on the airwaves. Here we go.
Is it ever? And today we're collaborating with Becky Bradley from the Feel Good Always podcast. We've had her on as a guest before, but today we're doing this podcast together.
And it's so much fun. And boy, get ready to have your mind blown.
Yeah, huge
Hold on to your pants.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're so happy to have you here. And here we go.
Welcome to the Feel Good Always podcast and the Medium Curious podcast. I'm Becky Bradley.
And I'm Jane from
And
Medium Curious.
Sarah from Medium Curious.
Yeah. So anybody that's listening to the Feel Good Always podcast, we're going to put this out on both of our podcasts. That's what the direction that I've been given from all the beings that are helping me do this work here. I reached out to, I got a direct message a few weeks ago that we would need to get together. I don't have to know what the plan is. I just know that I listen and they will take care of it. And so it was like, we're supposed to do something together. So here we are. And I have been on your podcast before. You are actually part of this beautiful divine orchestration that brings in the Feel Good Always podcast because Jane asked me to be on the podcast, all part of our little plan that we made together. And I'm not talking about in our human bodies. I'm talking about our souls made because I needed to start the podcast that I am doing now. And that one of the little breadcrumbs was you asking me and us, us meeting so many years ago, because we met years ago. And then after my daughter Keira died in a fatal accident, a year and a half ago, Jane and I were reunited through the same energy of we kind of randomly, not random, met and then the podcast happens. And when I did the podcast with you, I listened back and I was like, who is that? It's very beautiful energy that's coming through all of us. And when you listen to yourself and it doesn't sound like you, like I could feel it. And I could see it felt perfect how everything that I wanted to say and feel and know to the deepest parts of my being came out in that podcast. And so it was showing me. And then someone else asked me. And so the physical world started asking me to do something. And so here I am. And here we are back together again. So much has happened. And I feel like that was several months ago. It wasn't even that long.
It wasn't even that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It was so interesting because Jane texted me like, hey, Becky thinks we should collab. But that night before, so I wake up a lot in the middle of the night and it's a really great opportunity for me just to meditate. And I felt this big, huge ladybug come through. And I now associate ladybugs with Keira. And I've never met Keira, Earthside. Ooh, I'm feeling her now. Wow.
Oh, she's
so big.
With a whole team.
So I was like, I felt this ladybug come through and I was like, oh, that's Keira. And it was just huge, gorgeous, like astounding energy. And then I got that text from Jane the next day. I was like, oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, wow.
That makes sense.
That night before. Wow.
And then last night, so Keira's number is 222 or 22s, right?
Yes.
And everywhere I looked was 22, everywhere. I was like, oh yeah, yep.
Coming in. I knew you'd be feeling it. I love this merged consciousness that we have and that we kind of all see what we need to see, or we are all beginning to wake up inside of these human bodies where our consciousness is merging and it's just, and then it accelerates where mine is just, I have thousands of things happen a day of just kind of where I'm like, okay, I gotta get on this podcast and do this. And then I feel like I've already lived like, a couple months just since I woke up this morning with all the things that are happening, but, they've expanded my ability to hold this light. And so I can, as I continue to ascend, it's so crazy to even listen to myself talk. Okay, ascend. So that means that when my daughter died, I knew nothing about these words. I have never taken a class. I took a yoga teacher training. I'm somebody that's pretty surrendered and lives by spiritual principles. And so I have had a lot of suffering, and I have sought. I am a seeker. But other than that, there's not a piece of paper. This is a lived experience inside this human body that brings me to be really a guide for the change that is coming, and I was activated through my daughter's death, and she's making me say the word death. Okay. Instead of transition.
She is. That's interesting.
She's making me say it.
Yeah.
And so here's what I want to say about that. Transition is what really happened. Her energy transitioned into something else that we can feel here. I actually didn't really know that word until, and so I used that word for a while. It was actually right around the time a couple of weeks ago when we asked for this, that what happened is the physical world in my conversation started to show me that I had to use the word death, because mostly at first it felt like if you want to get people's attention, you have to use the word. And really what for me it feels like in this moment is, yes, she died. So, it's like saying the word transition changes how people understand what death is. But I need to use the word death and redefine what death means, because death does not mean what people think it means. It just doesn't. And so as I continue to say she died, her death, and then in the same breath speak of how she exists fully and wholly, that is what she's asking me to do. So I continue to learn here. I am not attached to anything. So when Keira died, I was stripped away from everything, the worst possible thing that I could have imagined as Becky Bradley. I am extremely connected to my children. They are my life. So I always think that, like, if I heard somebody like me, I'd be like, well, she probably doesn't like her kids as much if she's got this outlook, but it's not true.
Yeah.
They are my life. They are my everything. I looked at by other mothers, as a role model in, motherhood. I was actually reading some stuff this morning, some little cards my sobriety sisters gave me years ago. And it was, every single one was about me as a mother. So that's probably why they made me go to that. But so I say that, and then I was stripped away to nothing, which is really how I open up to this expansive energy, because everything I think I am is gone. And all that is left is love, is actually through a transmutation of, a burning away of everything. And I could hear Keira right away. I could hear her see her wild stuff was happening immediately, and it continues to accelerate. And she would tell me, I'm going to need to help people when the change comes.
Oh, really? The change.
Yeah. I had a big thing happen with this, when I sent you a couple days ago, hold the line, only love is real because fear is creeping in. There's something big happening in the world, and I was feeling it ahead of time. Keira shows me, I see it all. I see these massive things happen. I see them ahead of time. I don't know what they are, but when they happen, I see all the pieces that she was showing me. So I know time is not real. I know it's already happened.
I wonder though, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there a way for you to get a little bit specific? Because here in time and space.
I'd love to. Yeah.
So, but you can't necessarily, because it's September 12th. 2 days ago was the assassination of the fellow who was a mouthpiece.
They want us to. Okay, here's what they talk about on podcasts. They say evergreen, which means your content is forever. No, it's not, because we're going to talk about dates right now. Last night, I have like 5 podcasts recorded already, and through a series of feels like lifetimes that have happened in these last couple of days. I got on last night and did I kind of like really told a lot of truth that I haven't shared publicly, and just like these wild things that have happened. And because the team that is helping us is like, you have to share this. It's so big, and so I did, and that is out. And I have you know, this is funny because I have a spreadsheet for the podcast and they're just laughing at me. Like, put your plans away.
Okay. Let's just stop for 1 second. When you say they, can you explain to our listeners who's they?
So everyone, humanity. Okay. That's actually very interesting, isn't it? It's an interesting thought. But if we are all one, it's actually everyone. Okay. So first feels like Keira. Immediately it's Keira. When this happens and I will reference, you'll see me talking, Keira guided me. Keira guided me. Keira started sending me signs. Keira was doing this and Keira said this and Keira said that. And then it expanded to God and Keira. And then it was like Seraphina, which is from the seraphim, all these things I've never heard of in my life. And then it was kids on the other side. And then it was people's higher selves. And it gets bigger and bigger. And what I understand it today is that humanity is moving into a higher level of consciousness. It's the new earth. It's the fifth dimension. It's all these things that we hear about, right? I am fully embodied in it. I am experiencing it in this body. I am awake in the dream. I know, it's wild. That's just what's happened. And what happens is I get taught through the physical world. So I don't just know things. Everybody shows up right on time. I see things, I see numbers, I see license plates, tons, like a ton, like anything that has matter is sending me these and I'm like decoding it. And I'm not really trying, it's just happening. So they feels to me that like humanity has moved into this higher level of consciousness. We have souls in this body. I am Becky Bradley here, but I am expansive like Keira is, like you are, but so is everyone. And so the trees, everything that holds consciousness is moving us forward. And that is coming through me. That the animals, if people are listening to this podcast a year from now, their higher selves are connected to this time, this moment, because they were always going to hear my words. It doesn't matter. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Timeless.
Okay. Yeah. So there's no time. It's a massive, it's like, I feel like it's, we say it is done. It's done. It's done. We'll continue to ascend, but I'm embodied in it. And it continues, but what I know deep inside of every part of me, when I say like, I'm remembering, I remember that this already happened. I know that it happened. I know. And the people that are listening, there's something in their body and that they can feel that the words that I'm saying are true. You might not understand it, but it is done. And it's feel good always. That's why Keira picked the name. I was like, that's a weird name for what I'm talking about here. But what she was saying is this beautiful energy that you can feel and see. I am a mother whose child died, and I am like in a pretty high vibe state all the time, which humanly doesn't make sense, but it's because this is our true nature. It is our true nature. And we were always this was always going to happen at this time. It already happened. And Keira died to be able to channel this energy to me from that highest realm.
Yep.
Yes. And she told me all of this. Now, I understand this sounds crazy, but over time, she has taught it all to me. And there's nothing that has ever been more true. And she's showing up in people's fields that are not mediums, that have never experienced this in their life. Hundreds of people that are like, I never met Keira, but wait, I got to tell you something. Over and over and over, people are having experiences with her. And I can just like reassure them. And so my podcast, I'm learning, it's about bringing the people that are connected to this energy through me, because they have found me. Like, they're just like, we will send you everyone. And it's not about the podcast. I mean, it really isn't. The podcast is just a place to transmit this energy. That's it.
Right.
I don't worry about money in the podcast. I actually pay for the podcast. They're like, don't worry about it. And when I say they, I just mean this that's coming through me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We will take care of you because money's not even real. So it's nice position. Imagine if we all could be in a position to do our work in the world and not have to worry about money and just help people. Mm-hmm. It's not that I have limitless money. I just trust that they will provide. Does that make sense? I don't need much. I've been
getting the same message.
Yeah, like money. You just trust, you just continue. And I got the message for you two this morning, which you're already doing, but it's like, keep going, give it your all. Like, keep going because what you're doing is so important. We have to keep, and it doesn't matter if 4 people are listening to this or 10. That's another message. She's like, it's not about numbers because on a frequency level, it is massive. It has to be. Then how are all these people finding me? How do they find me? Everywhere.
Amazing.
It's exponentially growing. And so, so I want to say, obviously the people that are already listening to me, they know, but like on your podcast, that this is, that we find each other, that it's all divinely orchestrated and that it is, it's real and it's intense. So it feels really intense. So the
mic couldn't even turn on this morning.
Yeah, the mics broke at the podcast thing where I'm doing. They sent me to the studio, like everything lines up. They just show me where to go. And these guys that they have a literal professional studio, and they are like, we can't get that buzzing sound. It's like an EMF frequency we've never heard, and they had to buy new mics because I believe.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, this is what I believe, and I believe that the angels, that this power, they could make the mics work if they want to. They can make it work, but they want to make it clear by messing with the mics that they're here so that I tell all of you that the mics were broken so that you maybe doubt a little less and you begin to believe that this is real and true. And we breathe into existence what already exists, which is this higher dimensional, our DNA is being upgraded. I mean, you would have told me this a couple years ago and I would have been like, you are crazy. Crazy. Yeah. But I saw DNA clouds. I mean, I know it, but I saw DNA clouds. So, and then I've been seeing X clouds, and then I open Google, and the front page of Google is DNA with X's. I was like, okay, I just saw both of those. So it's like I see it, and then it gets confirmed, like in the physical world.
Yeah, that's wild.
So when you say you see it, you're saying you perceive it. So when you say I
see it in the physical world, and then I see it in the physical world again.
So the DNA clouds you're seeing in the physical world.
Yeah. That is what is different about what's happening to me. I've never heard of, it's co-creation. So I've never heard of anybody that has experienced. People will be like, in the beginning, when it first started, I would go to teachers and they would be like, oh, I get it. And then they would explain to me how they get it. And I was like, you don't quite understand. This is like that
I'm
times
experiencing this.
It's like,
real time.
So I'm experiencing things in this body that I later read about because I've never, this idea of parallel realities or an oversoul. Like I shared about that on my podcast recently. I don't know if it'll be out. It's with Andrea about like how I was actually shown like the oversoul and how the soul can incarnate. This isn't something I heard Bashar channeling or that I read in a book that somebody did in an HQT. This was something I experienced through humans bringing something to me. Mm-hmm. It's like mind blowing over and over. So that is how I'm being taught. It's through the physical world. And what I know is that I'm just co-creating. And I'm an activator. That's another thing. I was going to say this frequency that I'm carrying, it's so high. Because what started to happen is if I saw ladybugs and I told you I saw ladybugs, then you would see ladybugs. If I saw deer and I told you, you would see deer. everybody that would talk to me would start seeing the same things that I would see. It felt like everyone was experiencing this because, and even now when I'm experiencing something, everybody starts sending me what I'm experiencing. Like when I was seeing deer all the time, or if it could be Legos. I have Legos back here, but so what happens is somebody might not know that I'm getting Legos as a sign, but I will have like 10 different people send me pictures of Legos. And then they pop up on social media. And then my daughter walks in with a Lego shirt. Not that she would ever do that, but example. So it felt like everybody was experiencing this. But what I got taught, like really by Keira, was I'm like an activator. So when people get in my field, they start experiencing usually before and after a lot of synchronicity, So
like yesterday I bought sunflowers and I forgot that was a Keira thing.
Yeah.
So I bought sunflowers and I almost brought them on. And for anyone watching, you can see there's some behind Becky, but I was like trying to dress my boring ass background. And I almost brought these sunflowers, but I couldn't figure out how to rig them so that sunflowers could be right here. So like, that's what you're saying, right? Like I got the message yesterday when I bought them. I got the message again today, like I should bring them. And then my human self was lazy enough to not rig them properly. But there you go. Like there's this kind of wave that like Sarah got the dream. Here's the world's biggest ladybug landing on her head. She knows who it is. So is that kind of along the lines of what you're saying? Is like there's like a wave of consciousness that precedes and
it's a frequency and we're being activated into it that really we can't completely comprehend. I can see my lifetime from when I was born, everything. I mean, I'm kind of somebody that just has always had a lot of wild connection to everything. And now I'm like, well, yeah, of course it makes sense.
So you're kind of like talking about zooming out instead of just being like right here, like with the 2 inches in front of you, you're able to zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
And I've always kind of been able to like do that where I could see why everything happens and unfolds. It's so natural to me to do that, but I'm really zoomed out now and I can see the web of how everybody connects.
We'll be right back. Hey, dear listeners, we want to tell you about our upcoming classes that we are teaching. The first one is Intuition Unlocked, from Self to Spirit. Whether you're stepping into mediumship for the first time or returning to strengthen your skills, this online 3-week immersive course will meet you where you're at and take you even further. Each of our 3 2-hour classes blends engaging teaching, breakout practice sessions, and pre-recorded guided meditations with binaural beats to help you integrate and expand between lessons. Go to mediumcurious.com to check that out.
We're also offering the Claire Club, your ongoing online practice space for expanding and fine-tuning your intuitive abilities. Whether you're fresh from our intuition and mediumship courses, I hope you are, or you've been walking your spiritual path for years, it's a place to stretch, play, and shine all of your clairs. And we're meeting a couple times a week for 6 weeks, so come on and join us.
Let's talk about this September 9th thing, 10th. September 10th. So basically what happened for me, it's going to be a little bit of a story. I'm going to try to make it somewhat quick. Basically, I was seeing ahead of this event, black and white, yin and yang. I was actually seeing in my field, I really experienced nothing but peace. So when something comes in and triggers me, I'm like, wait, what? What is happening? What are they trying to show me? So I kind of saw somebody like kind of persecuting, like pointing fingers, right? And I felt a little pointed at. And then I was like, wait a second. And so I know too much. I live in peace, so what is this? What are you showing me? And it was this polarity of opposites and that we're all really mirrors. Mm-hmm. And you've got that I was seeing yin yang, I was seeing black and white, and just lots of different things. And then I wake up on the morning, I was doing a podcast with my friend Andrea, who I would say is one of the closest people to me in terms of experiencing the level of wild synchronicity. Our consciousness, I'm merged with everybody's, but for her to feed back, she feeds back a lot. And so I knew that when we got together on the podcast, it'd be powerful, right? I didn't know when. And then eventually they told me when, which was on September 10th. Her and I had started seeing 911 a month ago. She kept saying 911, 911. Why am I saying 911? And I was like, we'll find out, kind of everything. So she was seeing 911. And what happened was I woke up on the morning of our podcast and I started feeling fear. What happened was the physical world started sending me fear in the sense that trying to think of the examples. So
could you understand that fear was not your fear, but
absolutely.
it was the collective's fear?
It's not mine because I don't live. Yeah. It's not. I don't live in that. I don't live. So
that's
fear.
Always important to notice when you're getting these feelings and you are grounded and embodied, and you're getting these feelings. Is it my feeling or is it belong to something else?
Yeah. So for me, when Keira died, I experienced in what I would think is it's the worst possible thing. So it really did give me a present moment, and this expanded. It's like, none of this feels real. Sometimes it definitely feels like a dream. So I really don't live in any fear. I don't, period. And that's wild to say, like, thank you. I'm so grateful. But fear is actually not real. So I know that this is hard for people to understand. Like, what do you mean you don't live in fear? I don't. So when I feel it in my body, I know it's not mine. Mm-hmm. I've been shown too much. I have nothing to fear. None of us do. I am fully protected. My field is protected. And it's not because I'm some amazing, it's because that is the truth of who we are. We are protected. Yeah. We don't have to worry about evil. We don't have to do, I don't need to, what I have been told, I don't need crystals. I don't need oracle cards. I don't need Palo Santo. I don't need anything. I am fully protected in this body my field is clear to feel this beautiful energy, period. Mm-hmm. I'm not attached to anything. My other daughter ended up in the hospital. My daughter-in-law, Abby, her dad died. And I knew about it ahead of time. And then my other daughter ends up in the hospital. And it's like my life is testing me. Can I stand in this truth of trusting, even when it's continuing to fall apart and it's already fallen apart? And I did. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm just like, I know it's all unfolding as it should. So that complete surrender of I'm not attached to anything, nothing. Which happened completely with it was forced with Keira. It was forced. And so the fear is gone.
I ask a question about that really quick, Becky? The surrender you're describing is so gorgeous. Like I can just feel into it. It just has this like release, this like as you're talking about not having fear, it's like a template. So this, your listeners are picking that up. Our listeners are picking that up now. There's this template of what it feels like to be fully surrendered to the spirit of yourself, of the everything, of the, of the greater consciousness. That is what we're talking about. I'm wondering, I really love, I just kind of wanted to stay there for another second.
Yeah, dude,
if that's okay.
It's actually the best. Surrender.
Yeah. I'm just wanting to kind of have this conversation be accessible to lots and lots of people. Talk to us a little bit more about like the practicality, like say that like you just did a little bit, you gave us that nice example. The fear came in. I recognize this fear as not mine. So then you're going to go and look at it and go, who are you? What's up with that? But more practicum, if you don't mind, like how it
happened over time. Mm-hmm. So I practice.
Yeah.
I practice surrender. So, and I turn my will and my life over to something else, which means, so I was in 12-step recovery for years. And the third step is turning your life and your will. Now, this is a spiritual practice that's done in lots of places. That's just where I learned it. So I started practicing, and I started listening to other people's stories around trusting that everything was unfolding as it should. And so I heard it enough times that when I felt that feeling of like, ooh, this isn't going my way, I like stopped myself and went, oh, wait, maybe it's all unfolding as it should. So I remember that first time that I surrendered to like things not going my way. I think it was revealed to me why. I had a bunch of people in the physical world kind of showing me like why. And so I started practicing. Even today, when I started to kind of be late to come to this call, it's like, I could feel bad. I could do all kinds of things with my mind or go, you know what, it's happening as it should. Not that I'm trying to not be, but I'm like, I need to know that like everything's unfolding. I get hit, my car gets in an accident. Okay. Why? So, and I'm not attached to good or bad. That doesn't mean that everything I surrender to works out and feels good. It's just, that's not. So it looks like practicing
also
for
releasing
years.
Judgment.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that practice of not really like just kind of knowing I'm always where I'm supposed to be for years. But I would surrender everything but my children. So, but this
I was just thinking about that. I could do that all day, except when it comes to my teenager, I'm like, yeah, why?
Like they have to be happy and healthy, and like, other than that, take my house, take anything, my cat, I think, I was thinking, like my cat would die and I'd be like, well, it's okay because it's not my kids until it was my kid. And that's just the truth. My husband, I talk about this a lot, like, and I think this is very divinely orchestrated, like the timing. It was like 10 days before he has a business and it was being sued. And he was really stressed about everything that was happening. Now, when you live in surrender, it's peaceful. It's peaceful. So I looked at him and said, it doesn't matter. Like, what? Like, if the business goes down, then that is what's supposed to happen. Like, because it wasn't something that was his fault. He was living in integrity and in alignment and all of that. So I just looked at him and I said, as long as our children are happy and healthy and safe and we are safe, that is all that matters. And so he practiced this for the first time, okay, my kids are safe. And it's okay. And then literally like 8 days later, his daughter dies, which is like, and he was messed up over it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like almost felt like it was his fault, obviously not, but.
Right.
And so I obviously still held on, and that's not why that happened, but I was completely asked to surrender my children. Not only my daughter, Keira, her life here on earth, I actually immediately was like, well, I can stop worrying about her. It was the other children that I had to watch their lives literally just be completely shattered. And everyone around me was shattered. And I had to sit with my, 14-year-old daughter who, this is her best friend. They have done everything together. She's crying in the shower, and all I can do is sit with her in her pain because there's nothing to fix it. Yeah. And so that was just, I was like, I am being asked to surrender, like in a way that, and I was already I couldn't do anything for months. I couldn't answer an email. I think I met you, Jane, around 6 or 7 months. Yeah, and not met you, but saw you in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. This picture behind me, there's a picture of Hanalei Bay behind me, which Keira used this use the physical world as a tool to get me to Hawaii, to meet Jane, to, do lots of things so she could throw rainbows over the house and to do the work I'm doing today. Yeah, it's all this so I can zoom out and see. And it was trusting that everything was happening as it should. Mm-hmm. And that's what it looked like on a human level. And then it's still human, but what that looks like today is what it looked like 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, was meeting with a group of moms that are Keira's friends' moms that wanted to, they kept asking me, and I would feel this pull. You should go. I don't want to go. I don't want to hang out with the moms of daughters that are alive. Now I do, but at the time, like the pain and having to live through and feel that. And why would I anyways? But I kept feeling that I needed to go. So even to go to Hawaii, I didn't want to go because I was miserable. I was scared of my feelings. How do you go to the ocean without your child? How does the ocean exist when my daughter does not walk this earth? It makes no sense. But she continued. This energy pushed me forward in a sense of I would just hear and I would surrender and I would do it anyways and know that I would survive my feelings. I would survive them. And I did. And that is the Keira Bradley Foundation was formed from me saying yes to those moms, like $70,000 raised in a year and a half for foster kids. Like the amount of stuff that has happened in my world is mind blowing, but I keep saying yes. It looks like me getting on social media and pushing this out and telling my story when my story was not this story. Like, give me some time to integrate, guys. They're not, it's not. It's like,
they're like,
there's no time. No. I'm just like, okay, I guess we're doing this. And a lot of times I don't want to. I'm not comfortable with it, but I surrender, especially to this beautiful energy, because nothing has ever been more real than what I experience. And if anybody hears anything today is coming for all of us, you know, this is not special. This is not just for people that, you know, has been studying this their whole life. It happened to me immediately. And over time, I mean, I was made for this role that I play, but we all have a role. We all have a role. Every human on this planet. That's why I said, who's here? Humanity. This is real.
That's so funny. That just came through in a reading yesterday.
Of course it did. We're on we're merged consciousness. We're on the same frequency.
Yeah, it was just exactly how the guide said it. It was like, you know, and kind of going back to the whole Charlie Kirk
we haven't even got to that crazy story.
We kind of keep dancing around it, which is fine. Maybe
spiral.
we hang out in it. But this is what was happening was this person was coming to me and they were like, do I need to leave? And the guides were like, look, everyone's playing their role perfectly. And so then it was like, well, what's actually true in your life? And she was like, well, I can't leave. And I was like, well, then you can't leave. That's clear. You know, it was just like this really beautiful, like slow, like dawning. I think it's a lot of what you're saying is where the revelation is like present. And then it kind of takes a minute for the human to go like, oh, that's what's happening. But that's the acceptance. That's the surrender. Oh, is that happening? Is somebody playing a role that's really extreme and horrible and we're witnessing it? Okay, we're witnessing it. And we're witnessing it. And then how do we navigate that water? And I think what you're offering, I don't think there's any way to summarize it, but your feel good always message is that that's available. The feeling good is available. Mm-hmm. And what I heard from the guides yesterday is, and it's a choice.
Here's what I know. In this energy, only love is real. Yeah. Period. It doesn't matter what's happening in the outside world, because the truth of who I am and who we all are is only love is real. It's just playing out. So Keira asked me that morning, I felt fear come in. I went, and what I did is I took my physical body and I burned it off. I ran. I had barely any time because I was going to be in a podcast. I ran for 20 minutes and all sorts of stuff came in. And what they asked me to do was share with everybody and ask them to hold the field. Hold the field that only love is real, and make sure that they know that, because I already know, there's nothing to fear. It is done. So I have to ask you to hold the field that only love is real and that fear is trying to come in. And I have to let you know that fear is not real, both in the same breath. Mm-hmm. Because if I send 100 people a text and say, fear is trying to creep in, half of them at least are going to be like, what are we afraid of? What are we scared of? And so I have to be careful. Yeah. And so I just said, please hold the field. It's done. But when we ask humanity to hold this field of the truth, which is only love is real, then they know they are part of it. And so I asked, And let me tell you the other like few synchronicities that tie in Charlie Kirk. So she asks me to hold the field before this happens. And okay, I'm going to hold it. And that morning she had given some transmissions that I had gotten from her almost a year to the date ago. She had me copy and paste them and put them into my phone. When I say she had me, it's just like, it's a thought. It's like, I should take this, copy, paste, and I put it in there. So Andrea and I are in our podcast. The energy is high. We are sharing, pretty vulnerable stuff in the sense of I'm sharing starting to share some like the oversoul story, some wild stuff that has happened in this physical, it's personal and I'm sharing it. At some point I get a feeling that I should read this transmission from Keira. And I look down at my phone and it's 12:22, which is a activation point for me. I've seen it a bunch of times. Keira's 16th birthday was planned for 12:22. Her party. We end up having a pretty much like a service that day. She has died 6 days earlier, 12:22. No coincidence it was on that day. I fly to Costa Rica a year later on 12:22. I don't know the significance of the date yet. If I look back in my pictures, over the last years, there's all this significance on that date. And I see it everywhere. I could go on and on about the synchronicities, but I'm just going to tell you this one. I look at my phone, it's 12:22. Then I go to read this transmission that I have written, that I have done a year ago. It starts with, it's 12:22. So wow. This transmission from Keira, it's actually 12:22 a year ago. And also when I go to grab my phone, it's 12:22. In the transmission, she talks about how I'm going to need to help people when the change comes, that people are going to be full of fear and they're going to be scared. And that I'm going to need to help people. At the time, I had no idea what she was talking about. It actually scared me a little because I'm like, what do you mean? Who's coming? What's coming?
They change. Everyone freaks out.
Yeah. And what I had to do was experience it, which is the change is this full on multidimensional awareness and connection that is actually a beautiful, feel good, always energy.
Yeah.
And it can feel very intense when we realize the power that we have. And so that's what she's talking about. And that is what my work is. So
it's the frequency of love. It runs on the frequency of love. The telepathy runs on the frequency of love. The synchronicities run on the frequency of love. Every thought, every coincidence, every non-coincidence, every synchronicity is all on that high frequency of love.
Yeah, I could feel it. What you're saying. So that's the thing too, is that I personally was very detached from the way I felt. And so now that's all come online where it's like, it's actually a feeling. When we're in that frequency, it's a feeling. And so when I ask people to hold the field, I drive to the podcast. I literally can't. I saw 100 signs, every license plate, every sign. It was like I was driving in utopia. It was just this beautiful, like, yes, we're doing this. There, I could feel like all the people, the higher selves, just the collective helping me do this. And I go and once we do it, it ends up being 2 hours. Cause that's the thing. I'm trying to keep it an hour. They told me the night before, nope. We need more time. Okay. So we do it for 2 hours. I come out and immediately, the first thing that is said is Charlie Kirk. I don't know who this person is, but that is of course the first thing that makes sense to me. And fast forward maybe an hour later, somebody who is one of the 100 people that I sent this message to sends me a message. She reads the text that I sent about only love is real, hold the field. So that's an activation for her. The second she reads my message, she gets in her car, turns on her radio, and what she hears is Charlie Kirk was shot at 12:22. Okay. So it actually doesn't matter if he was actually shot at 12:22. I don't know. But what that is showing me this. It's a frequency, 12:22 back here, 12:22 here, 12:22 there. The fact that I was asked to hold the field, the fact that all of us are on this call. Then 9/11 comes in. I mean, it goes on. And I am not telling people that, like, this actually just has to do with, can I hold the only love is real? Can I watch what's happening in the collective and know that it is not mine? And if only love is real, it is not true. It can't be real. What they are doing is playing something out that's not real. And we've done it. I'm just not participating. You know, I'm going to continue to broadcast the truth, which is that only love is real, you know?
Yeah, right.
I love the phrase holding the field, because what you're doing is actually making space for the love and holding that field of love. So I think keeping that in mind as what we can do if we don't want to participate in the fear, if we don't want to participate in the drama, is to participate in the holding of the field, that field of love.
Yeah, like watch every single thing. Like yesterday I was at yoga and I definitely got the download that I was supposed to come and share a message, which I shared yesterday, but then I left the class and they were talking about, I want to punch them in the face and, you know, whatever. I'm not judging. I'm not judging humanity. That is not what this is. But what I felt is I can't be in this frequency and also watch it unfold. My guides will show me what they want to show me, and they don't want me down the rabbit hole. That's not what this is. For me, I don't know what is right for everybody else, but for me, I'm not going to get sucked into the hating and these people are dumb. And like, no, that's, how do we, it just doesn't, it doesn't feel, it's not aligned. So what will happen for me when I say that, I hate to even make it about this because I don't even want to be talking about this, but it just happens to be what's happening. I will see themes of names, people coming in. And so I've had a Tyler theme coming in, like just lots of Tylers. My son is Tyler, but lots of Tylers. And this is like one of many, many themes. And then right before we get on the call, somebody, actually the same person that texted me that said it was 12:22, that he was shot at 12:22, that the person of interest is named Tyler and he's 22 years old. So it's like, it's the same thing, like you kind of seeing it. It's like, so if we know all of this has already happened, what are we afraid of? We're, you know, like it actually, and what I know is that I live in peace. It comes from within. And I didn't have to go anywhere to experience heaven on earth. It's here and it's coming for us all.
I once downloaded a screenplay that took place on the other side. It was just a download. I just took notes, right? I haven't produced it yet, but I will. And it was really fun because there was a catchphrase that so like basically in the movie, and what my understanding from Michael Newton and stuff is that you go to the other side and you kind of continue your education. You know, like there's like these almost like these really beautiful classrooms, which is essentially what the earth is too. So in my screenplay, they're all in the classroom and the teacher says, because everything is perfect as it is right now. And it's kind of the rope thing. So everyone's like, everything is perfect as it is right now. So of course the story is him like struggling with that because it's like, it's not perfect. So it's like this whole thing where he's fighting that truth. But at the end of the movie, he's like, because everything is perfect as it is right now.
He ascended.
Doesn't matter where you are.
That's what happened to me. That's ascension.
This side or that side, you still have to figure that out. That's like the whole story, it seems. I mean, at least based on my little tiny screenplay. And I just love that it aligns.
He ascended.
Right.
It's our true nature.
And it goes back to that frequency that you're talking about. And I also wanted to share that one of my favorite people who walked this earth was this buddy of mine in college. And we just had a really dear friendship. And he died in 2016. And right before he crossed, like the 6 months before he crossed, he just kept texting me that. It's just love. It's only love. It's just love. And he said, so all I'm going to do now is broadcast love because it's all I can do, but it is all there is. And I just got chills. So I feel like Danny's here too, because that's
he is,
exactly what he was about. And it was his story too. He was a peacemaker and a beautiful soul to walk the earth with. But Anyway, I thought that was pretty neat. It was like, as he got closer to the other side, he was 100% tuned into that frequency. And he was like, let's see who can catch this before I go.
And that's so cool, because that's what Keira would say, is that like on the other side, not here on Earth, that like I could never imagine what this feels like. And then if you know, I'm sure you guys, the NDEs, how they say, you know, in near-death experiences, that they feel like, it feels like waking up from a dream. Everything feels more alive and more beautiful. And it's love. Like you said, Sarah, it's just love. And I'm experiencing that in this body here on Earth. Like, I don't have to wait to like get out of that's, you know, I'm experiencing that love. I'm experiencing like, it feels like a dream. It doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it or take it seriously. I'm just not worried about anything. I'm just not. I'm like, this is fun. I know, which seems weird. And it doesn't mean that I don't have compassion for, you know, Charlie Kirk's family and all of the people that are suffering on Earth. I have, you know, because it's way beyond him. When my daughter died, you know, I can't imagine what it would be like to have the whole collective, you know, putting energy on something like that. But yeah, we have to have our own experience.
Well, so in Medium Curious land, we usually close around now, but since we're in 2 podcasts, I wasn't sure if we're going to be done or not.
Well, whatever you want, whatever you feel. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel,
so
Sarah?
Good at closing.
I feel like that's the message right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you came to say, Becky, and you said it. And I'm feeling it.
They, you know, what I felt this morning, because I don't know, you know, I know that there's somebody that needs to hear everything that we said. I am surrendered to what that is. It could be one person, but on a soul level, it is done. It's done. We've done it. And so I'm so excited about that. And remember that it's done, and that we're just remembering who we are. You know, Keira gave me those words, but that's like, it is our nature. It's who we are. And we're just walking towards it. So enjoy the ride and feel it. It won't hurt you. I know that because I've experienced the depths of my own humanity, and it sucked. It was hard. I'm not saying that. And it doesn't mean I can't go back there. I was crying this morning, but my crying was about the power of love. It was about, I can't believe what I am experiencing in this human body. Like, holy, holy, holy. Like, what? Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for sharing.
And that Keira is right here. And I don't feel that separation. I don't. She's just speaking through me. She had a lot to say.
Yeah. She's such an exquisite
There's so much energy. Yeah. Like, and I just can't, and I don't, I can't. Just comes through, and I surrendered that. I don't let myself be like, gosh, I'm too much. Nope. I'm exactly right. We're all exactly right. Yeah.
All right. With that, everything is perfect as it is right now, y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting us to this collab. It is done.
It is done. It's a comfort.
And we shall, for now, it is done. And thanks for
thank you,
all
Becky.
the beautiful transmissions.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Keira.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Medium Curious is made possible
by Jane Morgan Editing.
Sarah Rathke made the amazing music.
And you can help Medium Curious by downloading the episodes.
And the dogs under the desk in Utah are Kalea and Domino.
And Trixie in California.